All right. So I think we're live here. I never quite know when it goes live. So if we're live, welcome. Welcome to this week's episode of the Inspired Artist Masterclass live mentoring session. I think it is working. So the first minute or so, I'm just going to make sure things are kind of working here and we're getting audio, we're getting video. Looks like we are live. If you are here, welcome. Just going to check in with the audio over here. NN is in the house. Welcome. Let me just check this is all working beautifully. And you can also let me know. Let me know in the comments. That's often the best way to know if it's working on your end rather than if it's only working on my end. But I think we're good to go. So let me know. Let me know. Looks like it may be dropping out a little bit, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Yes. All right. That's working. Chat roll's working. You're working. I'm working. This is going to be awesome. So, the session today is going to be another deep dive into time. How to get time for your creative work. I put out a bit of a call out at the end of the last live coaching session about what's on your mind, what are you struggling with, and I got some really good feedback from some people. Some of it had to do with related to just having time to do your creative work. Some of it was prioritization, some of it was balancing different aspects of what you're working on. And so today it's another deep dive into time. I've been kind of going back to a few of the things that has helped me really connect with making time for my art, because as we all know, it's a challenge, it's a struggle, it always drops off to the bottom of the list. So we want to, this is the place where we really kind of talk about mindset stuff, like what's a mental shift you can make when it comes to how you are perceiving and experiencing time that makes you change your behavior so that you bring into your life more of what you love doing. In this case, your art. But really, a lot of the things I'm going to be sharing today have to do with how do you have more things in your life that you love doing and less of the things that you don't really love doing or that aren't really beneficial to you long term. And how do you kind of make that switch? So today we're gonna dive deep into something that I have talked about before, but I haven't gone into this depth of it before. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. There's quite a bit in today's session, and so we'll see how we go. We'll probably go for about an hour. We could go a bit longer depending on how long some of the exercises take and any questions, feedback, all that kind of stuff. So, yes, welcome to NN, welcome to Tony, welcome to any new people who have joined us here as part of these live group coaching sessions. So the first thing I always love to do is just acknowledge you for being here, acknowledge you for showing up. And, we're going to be talking a lot about time today, and we're going to talk about something called opportunity cost, which is the idea that when you choose to do one thing, it does come at the expense of all the other things you can be doing, because as humans, we can only really be doing one thing at a time. So you've chosen to be here, and I want to acknowledge you for doing that and spending time focused on your creative work. It's, if you ask me, it's the best use of your time. But yeah, so thanks for being here. All the usual things apply. Please get involved in the chat role. Ask questions. As we're doing exercises, please share and contribute what you're discovering. And it really enriches the conversation, and it helps other people have insights and epiphanies and things like that. So as always, please get engaged and make this an awesome thing. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. So welcome to this session. Oh, by the way, you should see below the worksheet that you can download, print out. There are some exercises and some prompts in here. And this is just a good reminder to have a little collection of these as we go through these sessions so that you can refer back to them. I spend quite a lot of time putting these together in the with the expectation that these are going to be helpful for you. So please take advantage of it, print them out, have them as a reference. And we're going to move through some of this. I'm going to add detail to it. We've got some exercises coming. All right, we're gonna get you more time for your art. So here we go. So what is time? There's a lot of different ways to think about time, and the way we think about time really affects how we decide to use time and spend time. So there are a few references to time that I want to make as we go through this. I'm just going to get some things happening here. Here we go. Okay. So so James Glick wrote a definitive book on time travel, and he says that H.G. Wells invented the concept of the time machine. So up until this point, in the Stone Age, people just did what they needed to do, and they were focused mostly on the present moment, which is something, we're actually aiming to get back to a lot of the time through meditation and being present and all that sort of stuff. And this concept of time travel, not just that there is a past, present, and future, but that we should be able to, or that we can travel through time, sort of invented this access of time, that we can move along time. And this starts to give us the opportunity to think about what we might have done in the past that could affect our present, that could also affect our future. So this idea of having access to a past, present, future, and that they're connected really should change how we start to think about time. And it helped us to start thinking about time as a resource and as a tool that if we engage with time and actions, that we can really affect what our future looks like. So we also can start to distinguish quality of time, meaning that some activities are more valuable to us in the past, present, and future than other activities. Okay, so that's a pretty new concept. So I want to talk about opportunity cost. So this session is going to be in the beginning quite conceptual, and then we're gonna move into getting really practical, very practical. So a lot of the work we do in this kind of is conceptual because we're talking about mindset and perception and all that sort of stuff. So let's talk about opportunity cost. So the idea of opportunity cost is this is an economic idea that every time we spend time, we are making a choice about what not to spend it on. So when we choose to do one thing, it comes at the expense of doing another. So this is where we start to weigh up the value of the activity we're working on. And we're going to dive into that, so I don't want to preempt it too much. So one really simple example of that is that there used to be this buffet on Coney Island, and it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. So the condition was it was all you can eat as long as you could fit it on your plate. So the question is, when you're in that situation, you've got this limited container, and you have to ask yourself, what are you going to put on that plate? So any item that you put on your plate is taking up room from something else you could have put on your plate. So there is an opportunity cost. So you essentially have to make choices, which we're going to get to as well, about what's going to go on the plate and what's not going to make it on the plate. So, yes. So that's one idea, opportunity cost, that we're going to come back to. Another dynamic of time is unlimited time. So in basically any novel that's been written about immortality, where there's not a limitation of time, basically it removes the idea of scarcity, that time is actually valuable, because if it's infinite, then we don't value it as much as human beings. So any novel that's been written about immortality is that people get bored, essentially. So once we know we have unlimited time, so once we feel like opportunity cost starts to go down, as in it doesn't, if you have unlimited time, it doesn't cost you to do one thing, because you get to do the other thing, whenever you want. So we don't say things like, oh, don't worry about, whether you watch The Sopranos tonight. You'll get a chance to watch it tomorrow. There's going to be another chance to do it. So it's like, oh, well, related to your creative practice, like, well, I don't really have to do a painting today. I can just hang out with my mates all day, or I can just cruise around the internet for a day, because I'll get around to doing the painting tomorrow. That's fine. And we tend to be disconnected to the fact that time is limited. And I'm going to get to that. So, yes, we get bored. So we're actually really hooked on opportunity cost, and we're emotionally hooked on constantly making this choice about how we will choose to spend our time. So, and another example of this is if, some friends are going out for dinner and some other friends are going out for dinner, but there's a gig on as well, we get kind of into this conundrum where we're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, and we have to make a choice. Should I go out for dinner, or should I go and see this gig that I really want to see? Because time is not unlimited, and these two things are happening at the same time. So we have to make a choice, and we have to think about opportunity cost. So Qantas has just introduced a 19-hour flight. Actually, it's probably been around for a little while, but it's pretty much the longest, direct single flight that you can take. And it makes you think, well, you're never going to get that day back. You just got to sit on this airplane, and, you can't really do much, except for catch up on movies, which I like to do on planes. But the thing is, you never get any day back. And we don't get a do-over. And we kind of have the present moment to be making these important choices. So, the connection. Let me just check in here for a second to the comments I just noticed now. So if you can let me know in the comments just what's happening with the connection. Is it just a little bit glitchy? I'm just going to kind of check around here. It's showing here that the stream health is pretty good. Oh, it's a bit glitchy actually. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience. I'm just going to check how this is going over here. Apologies for this. Tech issues galore. So, I might continue going here with the hope that this is being all recorded well. All right. So apologies if the stream is weak. That is pretty bogus. I'm just going to continue checking it over here as well. If you can let me know in the chat box kind of where you're at, if you can hear this. Let's do this. All right. So hopefully you are hearing me. This is all working. So Tony, good to have you here. All right. Video is lapsing. Anyone else, or is it my device? Connection not so good for me either. So whenever you're hearing this, just let me know in the comments how things are going. I'm going to continue on and just keep an eye out for your comments. Yeah, let me just try one more thing to get this going. Do. Here we go. This might just make some added noise here, but just want to check this. Time to have awesome internet. Okay. So I apologize for this. We might. I'm gonna keep going in the hope that this sort of corrects itself. And once this gets up and running, I'm gonna set up the replay. It's all gonna be in the replay. And if we need to, I'm happy to reschedule the time so we can do this live. Not sure what's going on with the internet. My connection here seems okay, but there's obviously something happening. So I'm gonna continue on. Let's soldier on. Yeah. So where were we? All right. I was talking about the asteroid. The asteroid is coming. So this is a thought experiment that I'd like you to think about and consider. So here we go. So Ben Witters wrote this book called Last Policeman, and which kind of deals with this idea. So I want you to imagine that there's this huge asteroid heading for Earth, and it's going to crash within a year. It's so big that we can't do anything about it, and word starts to leak out about this discovery. So everyone has a year to live what you would do. So in the novel, some people go crazy. They leave their spouse. They hit the road. They participate in orgies. They murder people. And there were, some people took their lives because they couldn't kind of deal with it. So the fact that the end is coming on a certain date, and some people, like the title character, they go to work consistently, like a woman at the diner, they go to work because after all, what are you going to do about it? And that's the metaphor that maybe you only have a year left because you don't really know. So one of the key questions of our lives is, are we going to pass the time, or are we going to spend the time when we think about the huge contribution that we can make in that time? How do we want to show up? And so this example is 1 year, and I think 1 year actually can kind of just put you into a bit of a fear state of like, well, I'm just going to hang out with my family and just drink vodka and watch Netflix because, well, who cares? And then there is another way to think about it. Like if it's 5 years, you start to think, well, I can actually probably contribute to the quality of my own life on the planet. So let me just kind of think about how I want to spend this time. And what it also does is it shortens that timeline of thinking that time is eternal. It just makes you go through this thought experiment of like, all right, what is it that I would want to focus on and contribute and develop and create and think of the world that is useful and helpful and a worthy contribution. So that's the thought experiment, and you can start thinking about that, and that's going to frame up kind of what we're going to do next. So yeah, all right. So when it comes to time, it ends up that we actually have quite a lot of control over how we spend time, and it can feel like there's that we don't have there's something within that is happening out there in the world, and that a life is kind of passes by, and we can't do anything about it. So there are a few kind of notes here that we're kind of moving into about. So if you were put in prison for 50 years, and someone has taken away your freedom, but they haven't taken away the way that you engage with your time. So when you sit in front of the internet with all those things to click on, and when you're persuaded to swipe right or swipe left or dig deeper into the endless rabbit hole of social networking, you are given the options on how to spend your time, on how we look at opportunity cost. So if you had H.G. Wells' time machine, if you were sent back a day, if you had yesterday to do over, what would you do differently? The last question, of course, is you do have tomorrow to do over already, so how will you choose to spend it? So you get another opportunity tomorrow to engage with your time in a very different way. So we're going to talk about how to do that, different choices you want to make, how to perceive time differently, so that there's a felt sense of the value of time, rather than it just being just a humdrum day. There's feeling in your body that this value later. Really try to get much out of this moment. So before we do that, I'm just going to check in with something on here. Please let me know. Just writing the checkbox here. How's it going out there? How's the connection? So just let me know, because I might be a little bit ahead of you in a time lag, so you'll see that roll likely before you hear me talk about this. And the connection looks really bad. Right. Cool. Alright, so looks like the live stream is really struggling today. So I apologise. I'm going to keep going through. This is going to be in the replay. I'm just going to let the chat box. So, 1 second. Yeah. Right, so, keep going. I'm looking upwards. So, let's talk about the heightened value of time. So, let me just see if there's. Wait, I bring up some bandwidth here. I'm just going to close this guy down. Maybe that's going to help. Maybe I'm sucking up too much of the bandwidth on my end. So, I'm going to remove some things. I think. That. Yeah, what you think the does, you will see output. You can put that in there. That's it. Yeah. All right. So, the part of having so I put each of these things put on here. So, we need some exercise about with the time. So, first of all, how do you find time as the most valuable, non-renewable resource? Because once you spend the time, it's not you can't get it back. So, if you don't have a time machine, you can't reach back in the past and return that forward. And when I do this, it makes me really present point, precious, and it helps me engage my high priorities to go into play into action, rather than just kind of frittering the time away. It's something that it's the most valuable, non-renewable resource. Kind of helps to remember that one has more time than anyone else. We typically think that we don't have the same amount of money in the bank, or good looks, or skills, or how to things. But one thing that everyone targets in the same body is what the thing. And so the big difference between artists that become really productive and prolific and successful is that they're just making choices with those 24 hours, with the thing on their plate. They're making very different choices about what's going on the plate. So they're focusing creative time. They're not getting caught in distraction and things like that. So it's a bit easy for us to get into a thing where we're thinking, well, I'm going to have time. But the thing is, we all have time. We're making different choices. So we can't but it's kind of a bit of a fact to the universe. Okay. So the third sort of mindset shift, how you want to be thinking about time and perceiving time. So there's something really interesting with how we talk about time and the language that we use for that time. So we use language like, watch how I spend my time. I wouldn't invest my time in doing that. That's a waste of time. That'll save you time. I'm gonna give you some of my time. Well, thank you for giving me some of your time. I don't have enough time, and I don't have time freedom. All of those things will also relate to financial things, money. So you can watch how you spend your money. You can invest your money. You can waste money. You can save money. You can give money. So we don't have enough money, and we talk about financial freedom. So these things are very linked, because we need money to help us move through the world, and it greases the wheels of things we want to do. And it's also not infinite. It's not unlimited. And so we really need to be very careful about how we're spending time. We know that each week or fortnightly, often you have money coming in, you kind of have a time budget. You have a financial budget, you have some financial constraints. And it's kind of like that again, that you have to apportion really carefully how you spend time, how you spend time, how you save time. If you're going to waste time, and same with money. So you've got to kind of spend, save, waste, give, invest, all that stuff. So these things are really linked, again, because the scarcity of it or the limited supply of it. So when we're thinking about how we're spending time, we want to think about it in the same ways as financial things. So we want to be really aware of the language around it, that we want to use our time. We want to use our time very effectively and efficiently. We want to get bang for our buck when it comes to how to spend time as well. So we want to be bargain hunters when it comes to getting the time that we have. So that's the third mindset shift. So to just be aware of the language around time, how you're spending it, wasting it. Next one is what really committed to the idea that this that so this is something that I stuck up on my motivation. So It's a quotation that says, "You ain't dead yet, so get with it. Yours sincerely, Beth." So this little skull, this little porcelain skull, and mine. So it kind of shocked me into actually it was like, Andrew, this doesn't last forever, and you've got to be really careful about how you spend your time today. So don't waste it. Don't just get distracted, go on social media or go on YouTube that's really just like constantly researching things or procrastinating or hang out with friends that just spontaneously for hours and hours. Get focused. Get focused on what's really important. It's another sticker that I actually have as well. So it's really important to be in contact with this thing that you are going to die. You will kind of die. It's something really appreciate. It can be pretty harsh. So that's what it is really important to connect with this. I mean, I think about this all the time. I wrote a song about this recently called "Life with It," really crazy, and the song sort of came out of going through that situation with him, and I'm still here making to life and something happen and can express myself. So really, so you might have a similar situation you don't want to, where someone's passed away and it's going to be like, okay, come to that round. This is this shit. So and then last one here is life, the overall life here, but 80, 90, 100. It's also a macro expression of your years, months, weeks, days, hours, and minutes. So the way your life turned out is your years. Your years turn out like your months, just like turn out. Your months turn out like your weeks, like turn out. Your weeks, like your days, like your days turn out. And each hour is turning out, the way each minute is turning out. Each minute is turning out of how you're showing up to each minute of each hour, of each day, of each week, of each month, of each day. This is like to walk yourself through and think about what is that end point? What is the mosaic of your life supposed to look like when you get to the end of it? It's supposed to be something that you look back on and you go, I faffed around for 50%. I faffed around for half of my life. It doesn't feel like it matters in the moment. It's like, oh, no, I'm just going to do this thing, it's fine. And sometimes it is fine. Sometimes we do need to kind of keep up from the intensity of life and just relax. But other times it's really important that we knuckle down and connect with the most important parts of our life. So, yeah. We're fucking they value time almost above all other things. Just they're fully engaged with their life that they don't at the moment. That they're asking the question, and it's another way of valuing time. They're asking to work on your painting. You want to get really clear on what is this time for? What am I really trying to do in this hour? How do I want to show up? How do I want to engage with my work? Is this hour for me to just like, I don't know, just kind of show up and faff around and throw something around? Or is this hour for me to connect with myself really deeply emotionally and express that purely? So those are two very different hours. They're two very different 60 minutes that pass by. You're going to have a really different outcome. And again, that 60 minutes is kind of the micro expression of what's happening at the macro level. So, oh yeah. So I hope you're digging this. If you're still alive, let me check in to see if things are happening. It looks like it's a little bit with the live stream. So I hope this is all going to work. If it doesn't, I'm going to do another one of these. I'm going to check. I'm going to check it out. Okay. So I think I put the light in there. So a couple of things. Okay. We can actually kind of do that strongly here. So just 1 second. Maybe I'll do something like this. We'll talk about this. So the way this works is I'm actually probably going to get this up for you. So let's get this. Let's close things down and then roll it out. I apologize. Wish out the internet, which is freaking amazing. Try to lean that in. Keep it there. Okay. Now, let's get this going. So, I'm going to draw this out for you. Hold on. This is ready. Make sure this is working. It's not going to work. Dang. Tech issues galore. Okay. So let's think about this as a container. And there's a finite aspect in here. And so this idea is called. Oh, maybe not to that bit. Okay. So this is importance versus urgency. And so what we have is importance on this side and urgency down here. Chronology with the we've got scale of 0 to 10. In this quadrant here, this is where we have distractions. So, as you see from your work, distractions. So in here, these are things that are low in importance. Looking at are things like surfing the internet, just waste of time, getting caught up in sort of useless conversation. You might spend, lots of time on the phone with people, just kind of catching up. It's not really that exciting for you. It's not that exciting for them. So that's one thing. Then over here, we've got something low influence for high influence. So what comes in here are interruptions. So interruptions are things like when someone calls you out of the blue, or your phone just kind of buzzes, or you get an email and you just decide to sort of respond to it immediately. This is kind of when we're responding to urgently. And up here is emergency activities. This one, airlines and like someone breaking a leg, you have to tend to it. And it's these are things that we tend to really attention and respond to them because they're high in importance and high in urgency. Think about this, but they're not urgent. So this is where think about your art and how you spend time in your art. It's something that is rarely urgent unless you've got a deadline for an exhibition, or it's unless there's someone over your shoulder saying, hey, I need that by Thursday. But otherwise, like, if you do a practice, it's usually not very high in urgency, but it is high in importance. So the thing that I love about focusing on this area is that these will help your health, their relationships, things, and take this more focus and a lot of sort of factor out and respond to urgencies and things and doing that. So yeah, the way of doing things that are important and this is where all the good stuff comes from. This is where long-term what happens is different. So if you think about your process, why they haven't been too long, there's a bit too much time spent in distraction, you get interrupted, that you're responding to. So what ultimately we want to do is we want to get as much time in scoring. And the way that we do this is like the first part, really practical. All the time that's in distraction, and we can take that as many hours and we allocate them to this area of quadrant. Same with interruptions. That if you get interrupted, it's hard to get your focus back and have. You want to take any of those interruptions that are in your life currently and take that little satchel of time and transfer it over here into this quadrant, your art time, where you're doing more meaningful things that are important to you that make you happy. And then if there are emergencies or deadlines, often the way these things actually come to pass is when we have a deadline will get out of hand because we should be doing creative work or whatever it is, and we find it doing the project, the brief, and then it becomes the emergency that we have to respond to, and that just steals away time from us. So we want to consciously be working on those projects so we're not moving that time. But do that, and that moves us the first. So the first exercise is to make a list of your known distractions. So if you just think about what are the distractions that commonly are taking up your time. So in here you might have stuff like social media. Yeah, just scroll around. Netflix aligned with your art practice. And then interruptions. So this is in the Inspired Artist Masterclass online course. If you haven't done it, really aware of things like your phone kind of interrupting you, whether it's through notifications or that you tend to just respond to, in the moment. It can be if you with other people in your studio and they're constantly kind of activities world where you kind of have to. So there might be other people's agendas, people just kind of dropping stuff on you last minute. Any of those sort of emergencies, critical activities. To help do this, you can sort of think over the last couple of months, when it's going to happen. And then what are some activities that are really that you would like to be spending more? So I'm going to suggest you put your art as number one here. There might be other things like spending time with your family, or the critical activity, or it really minimizes it. So with distractions, if it's Instagram for an hour a day because you just get distracted, you go to put something and then you get distracted. You might just set an action like I'm gonna take Instagram off my phone, and that's gonna free up for most people. Distractions and interruptions, because their strategy straightforward, and for some people it can sound really challenging, like, oh no, but I like going on Instagram or whatever. What I'm going to recommend is that you set yourself a challenge with a number of these just to completely stop. Another option is that you allocate a limited amount of time that you're going to do. They're meaningful. For critical activities, last minute strategy might be, talk to Jonathan and ask him to give me more lead time. Otherwise, but so it's about control. But what's a strategy or art? I'm going to commit to going to the gym 3 times this week. With your partner, it's a nice thing. Structured